I wanted to shoot this quick video and share with you the transformative power that I have experienced of discovering the essence of my calling and then expressing it in all areas of my life, and what a difference it makes and how fulfilling and gratifying it is and has been for me and can be for you as well. So this is 20 years ago when my two boys were young, and I was searching for my calling, was searching for the essence of my calling. Again, reminding you that the essence is the spiritual quality that kind of leads and drives you and is a part of who you are at your soul level. And then its expression is the material part that can be expressed in many, many different ways. And so the word that for me defined who I was at the time was the word wholeness. When I said the word wholeness, I felt this is it, this is me, this is who I am at my essence. Wholeness defines who I am. I look for wholeness in everything. And so I began to look at all of my life and to see, where do I have wholeness and where do I not have wholeness? And so there were places where I felt like, oh well, I have wholeness here. I had done my doctoral studies in education and spirituality. I felt a lot of wholeness around that. There were areas where I felt there was no wholeness in my life. So for example, my two kids who were young at the time, my older son, he began first grade, and I really didn't like the public school that he was in, and we didn't have any other choices where we lived. And so I'd heard about people homeschooling. I had never homeschooled in my life or knew what it really meant, but I knew someone who was homeschooling, and I decided to call her and ask her, what is homeschooling and how can I do it and how can I start tomorrow, because I do not like what my kids going through in school. And the realization I had at the time that connects to wholeness is that we live lives in homes that are just empty houses that stay empty all day. There might be a pet that's waiting for you, but we all go out to work, partners work in different places, usually, most of us do. And then the kids are in school, and the houses just stay empty. They're not homes that are at the hearth of family life. It's an empty house most of the day. And I realized that I had no wholeness there. And so very quickly, I found out how I could homeschool, took my kid out of school, and my younger son was 9 months, so he just kind of came along for the ride, and I began homeschooling. And the fulfillment that I felt from suddenly being with my kids all day and seeing them learning and growing and taking their first steps in different tasks and capabilities, the joy I felt was immense. And I had released myself of this belief that sending your kid to school is the only thing to do, and otherwise your kids are not going to be successful. So I felt an immense sense of freedom. So I experienced joy every day, fulfillment, freedom, pleasure, all of these wonderful qualities that I experienced by bringing my kids home and schooling them at home and creating wholeness in my family. In my life story, in the circumstances that I was in, this is how the word wholeness, that was at my essence, provided this fulfillment and contentment. And so if you connect to this word, you might do something else with it, and it might affect you in different ways, or you have other words. There's so many qualities, spiritual qualities that that are at the essence of who we are, and together create this beautiful diversity that's needed in the human experience and in the experience on our planet. But this is an example of 20 years ago, the word that I picked and the wholeness that it created in my life. Also, when I looked back at what I'd done before, I realized that what I was doing is bringing pieces of my life into this wholeness of my life. So I'd been a feminist early on, and I had gone to women's groups and kind of tried to reclaim the feminine part in me. I realized that that was part of wholeness I had just not called it that because I hadn't focused on what the essence of my calling is. But suddenly I could look back and see, wow, I've tried to create wholeness in different ways. Claiming the feminine, now I was claiming the education of my children. And I even called my business at the time towards wholeness, because I felt that we are whole and precious from the moment we are born and at every moment. And yet we can always grow to larger and more expansive states of wholeness as we reclaim different parts of us. So the word wholeness also informed my business and the theory I was developing and the practices I was doing with people and workshops I was doing and leading with people. So you can see how one word, when it just fits you and it's right, it, boom, it just rings a bell. It's a note that is aligned with who you are at your essence, how it can transform your entire life, your business, your personal life. And so I just wanted to share this with you and tell you that this is what we do in the Expansive Community. There's the free workshop where we actually go through the process so that you can identify what word or two words or phrase are at the essence of who you are. So you have that nailed and done, you know that. And then in the membership, in the Expansive Community, we practice how to express it in all areas of our lives. And so we help you to chunk it down, and we have weekly goals that you can set, and risks that you take, and challenges that you kind of work through. So we help you, support you through any resistance, and then we celebrate your successes. I want to share in the next video tomorrow. I'll share with you another aspect of the essence of my calling that is more aligned with where I am today, currently, but is part of wholeness as well. So tune in for that video.